guys, so today I'm going to be showing you a cool variation of a classic trick, and this is what it looks like. So for this trick, we're going to need 3 different spectators, and I would ask each of them to please think of any playing card. Any playing card is a valid option as long as it only exists in your mind. The goal for me is I'm going to try to tap into your mind and try to pick up on whatever cards you might be thinking of, okay? So spectator number 1, please go ahead and focus on your card the best you can. I'm gonna try to see if I can read your facial expressions, but try not to give anything away, okay? So please think of the color of your card. Think of the suit. Oh, okay, whoa, I'm getting a very strong gut feeling here. Think of the value for me. Yes. Okay, it has to be this one. I'm gonna get a gut feeling and go with my gut right here with this card, okay? Okay, I'm gonna lock that in. I'm gonna move on to spectator number 2. Please go ahead and think of your card the best you can. Please think of your color, okay? And I just realized there might be a chance that you guys are thinking of the same card, but probably not. So what was your card? 8 of hearts. Okay, so just obviously think of a different one. Okay, so think of your color. Okay, think of your suit, your value. Okay. I think I know what you're thinking of. I'm gonna go with this one right here. That's my gut feeling on you. Okay, lock that in. Spectator number 3, same thing with you. I'd like you to focus on the suit of your card. And again, I hope it's not your card. What was your card? It was the Queen of Spades. Okay, so think of your card now. Make sure it's different. Think of the suit of yours and the value. Okay. I can't tell if it's gonna be a different color than theirs, but okay, I'm gonna go with this one for you. This is gonna be my answer for your card, okay, so there we go. There's all 3 cards locked in. Now, I think there might be one card in particular that you guys are definitely forgetting about, because I know when I ask people to think of a card, they never think of the card that I'm about to show you. Like, for example, what was the card you thought of? You thought of the 3 of diamonds. Okay, well, see, you thought of that card, but you definitely didn't think of this card, and this is the card I'm gonna pull out here, right here, this one here. Yeah, whenever I ask someone to think of a card, they'll never think of this, but the Joker is always a valid option to think of because it is a card that exists in the deck. It is technically a playing card, but obviously when someone thinks of a card, they're probably more likely to think of a card with a number and a suit and a color and everything like that. But the Joker is always a valid option. But of course, it means nothing because you guys already thought of these 3 cards. I just wanted to prove to you guys that you could have genuinely thought of any card in the entire deck. But remember, I pulled these out ahead of time. What was the card you thought of? You said the 3 of diamonds, correct? There's the 3 of diamonds, you said the Queen of Spades, and you said the 8 of hearts, correct? And those are all 3 cards, the 3 cards that I predicted ahead of time. And that right there is the trick. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, please be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So this is my variation off of a very, very classic plot and a very classic principle, which is known as the one ahead principle. It's essentially a way for you to always be 1 step ahead of your spectators when they always think that you are 1 step behind. I cannot wait to show you guys how this works. So you can really use any deck of cards for this trick. You can technically use a borrowed deck of cards. All you're gonna need is just to make sure that this deck of cards does include 2 jokers. If they were identical jokers, that would be even better because it would make the trick even more fooling. But yeah, make sure your deck has 2 identical jokers, and if you have a borrowed deck in use that has 2 identical jokers, then even better, because that is all you really need for this trick. Once you have these 2 jokers, you can lose them in the deck. You don't need to set them up anywhere, and the deck can be completely shuffled by a spectator or by yourself. So the deck is completely mixed, and you begin this trick by taking 3 spectators, and you're going to ask each of them to simply think of a card in their mind, okay? You're going to begin this trick by looking at the first spectator and pretending to read their mind. And you're gonna try to maybe guess the color and the suit, but you don't have to say like, I think your card's red or a diamond or anything like that. You just look at them and pretend like you're guessing what their card is, because what you're gonna do is essentially look through the cards and you're going to be pulling out any of the two jokers. And this is going to be the first card that you put down no matter what, okay? So this will always be the first card that you place down onto the table. Now, usually in this type of trick, what I've seen before is the magician pulls out the card, places it on the table, and then immediately asks the spectator to name the card that they were thinking of. I don't really like this personally. I think this kind of gives away the method, and I think this little subtlety that I added will help improve and disguise the method a little bit more, because the subtlety I added is you're actually going to wait a couple of seconds before you ask the spectator what card they thought of, and you're actually going to place this card down on the table and then immediately move to the next spectator, and you're going to start trying to pick up on what card they're thinking of and put all the attention on the second spectator. You basically want the spectators to believe that this card is already set in stone and you are not even thinking about it anymore, and you don't even want the spectators to think about this card anymore, because now all the attention has now moved to the second spectator. So you put this down and you move to the second spectator and you say, okay, now I want you to think of your card. Please think of the color, think of the suit. And after you say those couple of phrases, now is the point where you bring up the idea that, oh wait, you guys might be thinking of the same card. So just in case, what was the card you thought of? And now it's just a very quick offbeat question. You ask it very casually, like, oh, what was the card you thought of? Just so he doesn't think of the same one. And they'll tell you 8 of hearts, for example. So now you just kind of lock that in your head. Don't repeat the name of the card. Don't say, okay, great, 8 of hearts. Don't think of the 8 of hearts. Don't say that. You don't want to repeat the name of the card. You simply want to note that in your head and just say, okay, just think of another card. Okay, think of the color, think of the suit, and just immediately keep trying to pick up on whatever card they're thinking of. Don't linger too much on the name of the first spectator's card, but you do want to keep that in the back of your mind, because now when you're trying to guess what the second spectator's card is, you are going to be pulling out whatever the first spectator's card is. And this is going to be the card that you place in front of the second spectator. This is essentially what the one ahead principle is. It almost seems like it's the one behind principle, because this is technically supposed to be over here, but it's actually going to be over here. So now you're going to be doing the exact same thing for a third time. You're going to go to the third spectator, and you're not going to ask the second spectator yet what card they thought of. You're going to immediately move to the third spectator, and you're going to start kind of asking them questions and go, okay, think of the card, okay, think of the color, maybe I can't tell if it's the same color or not, and just in case you guys aren't thinking of the same card, what was your card? They'll tell you any card, we'll just make it the same as the performance, Queen of Spades. And you say, okay, so just think of your card now, and you just completely ignore that they said Queen of Spades. Don't make a big deal out of it, because you want them to also forget they said it. And then you're going to be pulling out the Queen of Spades, placing it in front of the third spectator. One more thing I actually do like to do is I actually like to take the joker and cut it to the top of the deck before I find the third spectator's card, or technically the second spectator's card. So before I find that Queen of Spades, I'm going to cut that joker to the top, so I already have this card prepared on top of the deck, because this is the final step of the trick that you will need to do. So once all 3 cards are down, I actually like to set the deck down, because I like to sort of relax in this moment and pretend like these cards are already locked in place and I'm not going to do anything to change them. And I'm not going to explicitly say that, but my actions will show that by me setting the deck down. It looks like I'm not doing any more sleight of hand or finding cards or anything like that. It looks like I'm confident in my decision in these 3 cards, and that will reflect in your behavior and your actions, okay? So now you bring up the idea that there is one extra card in the deck that you are pretty sure that the spectators did not think of. And you're now just very casually going to look through the cards, and your joker is already on top, but you're going to pretend like you're looking for this joker already. And you're not going to say the name of the joker yet. You're going to leave that until you actually flip the card over. But in reality, you're going to casually ask the third spectator, as you're looking, what card they thought of. You're going to be pulling out that card. So the third spectator will tell you that they thought of the 3 of diamonds, and you will say, so you chose to think of that card, but you could have technically thought of this card here that I'm about to pull out. And you're pretending like this card is the joker, but in reality, you are just going to be locating whatever card the third spectator names. And now what you're going to do is, before you place this on top and flip it over, you're going to catch a break on the top card with your pinky, just like this, and you're going to set the 3 of diamonds on top, or whatever card this might be on top, and do a double lift showing the joker. And now you're going to quickly just give a little overview that the joker is a valid option, that they could have chosen, blah, blah, blah. This part sort of seems like it's meaningless in the trick, but I kind of like to say after that, the only reason why I'm showing you this joker is just to prove that you guys genuinely could have chosen any card in the deck, even if it was a joker. And then I flip over the double, and I take the top card and I like to tap each of these cards with the Joker. And this is very important. You have to start with spectator number 3's card first, okay? Essentially, how you're going to be revealing these cards is you're going to be doing a style of a Mexican turnover almost. It looks like you're flipping over the card on the table, but in reality, you're just flipping over the card that you were holding onto beforehand. So you're going to place the card underneath. My thumb is going to grab the card that was originally on the table and slide it to the right, and that will allow me to simply use gravity to flip over the card that was originally in my hand. And I'm going to be doing this 2 more times. I'm going to take the card, place it underneath the second card, use my thumb to slide it, and then use my fingers here to sort of let gravity drop that card off. And be sure to not ever flip this card over face up accidentally, because this will have to wait until you flip over this last card. And the last card, you're going to do the Mexican turnover just like this. And what I do now is I flip over the Joker and I once again do the tap and the flick. And this is a very important thing that you do this, because this is the same thing that you were doing with the Joker while it was face down. And when you do the same thing with the Joker face up, that will be a very nice convincer that this was the card that you were using to flip over the cards the entire time, and that there was no way you could have been doing a switch. And that right there is the trick. And that is how it works. I think it's a very, very nice variation. I really like the subtleties that I added. I think it's very important that you don't linger on the name of the spectator's card and you just quickly move on to trying to guess what the next spectator's card is, because that's what the trick is all about. And I do really like the variation with the Joker flipping over everything. I think it does honestly look very clean. It genuinely looks very, very natural. And yeah, so I hope you guys agree, and I hope you guys enjoy performing this trick. Please let me know how it goes. But yeah, see you guys for the next one. Bye.